Hey guys, hope everyone's having a good day. So today I want to do a little quick technical analysis of Dallin Shurts. He throws for BYU under Coach Arrhenius, who was a previous athlete for the great Vestina Tyson. And I might do a video on his coach as well, who is known for throwing over 60 meters every single season he's competed. I think he's over 40 now, and he's still throwing over 60, which is absolutely insane. But let's get into Dallin Shurts. And I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that name right. He currently goes to BYU. He's throwing 66 high, and is overall fantastic technician. A couple things, like he's still very young, still working out some kinks. Was known for being one of the really good non-reversers. He's now switched to reverses. Still kind of working that out just a little bit, but right here we have one of his throws from last year, I think, just off his Instagram, as you can see from the bottom. And yeah, let me just play this a couple times. Oops. Let me lower the volume. Yeah, you guys, you can see a very, very nice technician. Very, very splendid. All right, let's get back to the back of the ring. All right, so alignment right off the bat, very nice. Really, really like it. Starts pretty wide, but he's also pretty tall, so it makes sense. And he's a very rotational type of thrower, and you'll see what I mean by that in just a sec. Let's move on. All right, right off the bat, this is one thing I don't like, and it's his head is kind of peeking just a little. I usually like to say the eyes follow the left arm out the back. He is kind of peeking just a little bit past his left shoulder, but he's also keeping the left arm inside of his left knee, which is a thing that Nick coaches that I know because he coached under Vestine, and Vestine coaches that. Not that I'm on first name basis with them, but overall, not bad. It's not crazy. Nothing really happens, I would say, is very negative with it. Because, well, usually I like to say the eyes follow the left hand out the back, and that's because a lot of people try and rush the upper body a lot and really pull this left arm and their head back, which causes them to not get over their left and to fall into the middle. But obviously, Dallin here knows what he's doing, so he doesn't do that, and instead gets a fantastic position here. As you can see, his alignment is beautiful. Armpit over knee and over foot. Very nice. Shifts his weight over. Very nice. Over his left. Discus is back. Right foot still on the ground while his left foot's at 90. Very, very nice there. All right, let's go a little further. All right, now his right foot picks up as his left foot is past 90, which is very impressive. Most guys cannot do that. That's very, very nice. Really, really like this wide sweep. I like his left foot stopping there. And you're going to notice when he does this, he's going to stop his chest. This is a very nitpicky thing, but I would like his head to be facing the sector still, kind of like Christian Che. Is maybe exaggerated just a little bit too much with that, but you get a good idea of like facing the sector with your shoulders and your chest and your head when you look at Christian Che. And maybe you don't have to look as long as he does, but I mean that works too, but I would like him just to not look there and instead just look straight, but I mean that's a very, very nitpicky thing. It's not like he's looking It's not like he's looking like back here, like over there. So, it's a very nitpicky thing. But let's see. Gets here. He pulls his left arm in just a little bit. I would like that to be a little longer. Usually I don't mind the bent elbow, but he kind of drops his shoulders just a little bit in the middle. Just a little bit. And now he's kind of he has a tendency to peek just a little bit with his with his eyes. And what I mean by peeking, like he's kind of like peeking over his shoulder, like someone asked him a question or something, and he's like turning around to answer. I would prefer that the chin stays in line with the sternum or the middle of the chest. But, I mean, that's just a very, very nitpicky thing. These positions aren't, like, terrible. I mean, sorry, that sounded really bad. No, like, they're really good. Like, I love any of my throwers to throw like he does. Obviously, I love any of my throwers to throw 66 plus meters. But just technically, I think he has some of the best technique in the world right now. These are just very, very nitpicky things and stuff, which you got to nitpick when you get to this kind of level and you start getting a guy that throws over like 200 plus feet like every single time, like every single meet and every single throw. Like it's you got to nitpick because you're at a stage where you're not a beginner anymore, you're not intermediate, you're now like competing pro level meets, which he does. So you at that kind of level you nitpick just a little bit. All right, try and just dial in your technique to absolute perfection. He's still young, though. So, this is probably my biggest gripe. I wish he was a lot more active with this right foot in the middle. I think he kind of lets it drag a little. And you see what this creates is the knee is no longer aligned with the foot. So if you look, the knee is here and the foot is here. And you want that knee in line with that foot to give you the most stable platform to turn on. And this is going to affect him in the front. So his left foot touchdown, very nice. Catches it super far back, which is really nice. In a really nice position here. He's kind of peeking just a little bit with his left, I keep saying left head. His head, which isn't the greatest, but whatever. I mean, that should be a pretty easy fix. Again, this is a shakeout before throwing, so this isn't like a technical practice. This is just like rhythm throwing. But what he gets here, this catch position isn't bad at all. The one thing I will say is I wish his right foot was pointed that way instead of that way, because it just takes him so much longer to turn. And it makes him get his knee out of line with his foot. I think the best person who does the knee-foot alignment the best is Joe Kovacs. And there's a reason why that's very important. It's because you want to be so stable and have super stiff ankles. You want to be super in line, all right? Because when you're in perfect alignment with your knee and your foot, that allows you to turn a lot easier and a lot more powerful and more importantly, you have a lot more stability as opposed to your knee and foot being out of alignment. And you especially don't want your left knee your knee inside of your foot. All right. And that's what he gets here. And what this causes is now he can't really push off his left foot. See how he's not turning? He's on the inside of the foot. Let me erase that. And what that does is you see here, right now, I would if I was coaching him, I would prefer him to be, not that I know more than Nick Arrhenius, that would be blasphemous for me to say, but these are just all my opinions, but I would prefer him to just work a little bit longer. But as you can see, you could tell us a lot more on a side view, but you can see his right knee is in inside of his right foot. So that makes him go way on the inside of his right foot, which makes him not stay on the ball of his foot and pick up his right foot early. Now, he still really throws his hips really nice, super rotational. Upper body, zero complaints, really, besides the little peaking. But he still holds a fantastic block. He doesn't pull, so it's fine. But as you can see, he's not really like pushing into the ground. So like this end position is really, really nice. The way he gets there is not that nice. With his right side, specifically his right lower body. Upper body, fantastic. I mean, no complaints there. Block, amazing. Really, really nice block. And, but yeah, my biggest gripe with his technique is if he just ironed out this right foot just a little bit and made it so he's not just on the inside of his foot and he's like actively pushing and turning on the ball of his foot, like a Ryan Krause or a Fabry or a Joe Kovacs or something like that, I think he'd be fantastic. I think he would start throwing 68 plus with that, because I just believe that he's just losing a little bit of distance from that, and it's not negligible, but also that is kind of a major change. Not really, but again, this is literally just one throw. I do have another throw that I was going to analyze, and he kind of does the same thing. So this might be a pattern that he does, because both times he doesn't actively turn his right foot in the middle. Now, he could be using the style of just turn the right hips, don't care about the right foot, which the hips are more important than the foot, because the foot can turn and not the hip. So he does a fantastic job of turning the hips. Obviously, to throw 66 plus meters, you have to have a good right side finish. All right, so I'm not saying his finish is garbage. I just think that one little aspect would improve it dramatically. But he does the most important thing, if I can go back, which is turning the right hip. All right, really, really nice. In this end position, looks a lot like Robert Harding's end position here. But Robert Harding will be on the ball of his foot and turn while still pushing into the ground. But other than that, I mean, honestly, if I had a thrower who threw like this, if I threw like this, I'd be ecstatic. But yeah, overall fantastic technician. BYU always is powerhouse in throwing. Always just has a stud coaching staff. At least in throwing. I don't know about any other. I only care about the throwing. But overall, just fantastic group. I competed against BYU a couple of times. I'm a little old, so I never competed against Dallin Shurts, but I got to meet their coach a couple of times. Back when Jared Rome was coaching before he passed away, sadly, I got to meet him too. So I could compete against BYU a couple of times. But overall, just awesome. Awesome group of people, awesome technician. And I expect nothing less from that and their coaching staff, considering who their coaching staff is. And overall, really nice. So, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned something. And see y'all later. Bye.